Mr. Chris. Good afternoon, Toastmates. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The 2010 U.S. Census is almost here. Does anyone know the actual count date for the official census? It's April 1st. That's not a April Fool's joke. I actually asked 16 people yesterday, and not one could figure that out. What is the census? Why do we do this? Why don't we just do a statistical analysis and estimate and save a lot of money on this? Well, right here, it's in the Constitution. Every 10 years, we need to have an actual count. And that actual count is used to allocate money. Over $400 billion every year is sent out to communities based on their size and growth. The bigger cities get more money for schools, hospitals, bridges, tunnels. Another reason for the census down there at the bottom, the seats in the U.S. House for every state is based upon the census. Here's a chart of the United States population in the last 100 years. The population has more than tripled in the last 100 years. It's estimated to be over 308 million now. So you can see if you just estimated for a 100-year time period, it would be very easy to be off after 50, 60, 70 years. So we do a census every 10 years. There's estimates every year still by the Census Bureau, but every 10th year there's an actual count to get those numbers more to a baseline. An interesting fact, in 1880 the census took 7 years to tabulate the numbers. But with technology today, we actually release the numbers, the adjusted numbers, by about December. I like this map here. It shows where the population movements are in the United States. Generally from the north and east, moving to the south and west. Nevada was the top growth state for 19 years in a row, from 1987 to 2005. And it finally lost the crown to Arizona, and then Utah took the crown the next year. Those three states, the dark green there, right next to each other. Ironically, Nevada actually lost population last year with the economic downturn and the housing bubble that burst. New Orleans is another interesting case. It lost almost half its population when Hurricane Katrina hit. And I just looked up last year, New Orleans was the fastest growing large city in the United States. So people are moving back there. There's a boom there. There's a couple instances where you really need the census to figure out exactly what you have when population's going up and down rapidly. Here's a map showing the Congress apportionment, 435 U.S. House members. The green states there are the states that actually lost 1 or 2 representatives the last census, year 2000. And the blue states are the states that gained 1 or 2 seats. Or purple, as in Texas, gained 2 seats. Michigan's at 15 seats, and it's estimated will fall to 14 seats by the 2012 elections. Now here's just a quick gonna show you Michigan has 15 seats. It's about 650,000 people per congressman. And Detroit, Wayne County has 2 million people, so they'll have about 3 seats. Whereas the barren Upper Peninsula, Northern Michigan, about 30 counties fit in a seat there. But these will be redrawn by 2012 because Michigan's gonna lose another seat. But we have to do the actual count first to make sure of that. Here's a top 10 list of Michigan's biggest cities. 6 of those 10 are Detroit or suburbs of Detroit. An interesting story about Detroit, in 1990 they had a population. In July, the census first initial figure showed 980,000 as the population. And Detroit wanted to hit 1 million so they could get more federal dollars, so they did their own census and found 40,000 more people. Putting over 1 million and then more federal funds. You'll see Lansing there at 6th, sandwiched between Ann Arbor and Flint. So this is nice to have these estimates. It's pretty close, but I'd like to know for sure where Lansing sits. We might be 5th, 6th, or 7th. We'll know for sure by the end of the year. Now, as regards to census numbers, you got national, state, counties, then you move down to smaller areas, cities, villages, townships. The smallest unit of population is the census block. So this is my subdivision down in Holt. And all these numbers are census blocks. See 9021 there? If I get the job and go out in about May, well, let me go back. In March, you'll have a form sent to you. You need to mail it out by April 1st. If you don't, census worker will probably come to your house, knock on the door in May, and they'll come out 3 times. If you're there, they'll collect the data. If not, the census worker will knock on your neighbor's door and ask how many people are there. So there might be 50 or 60 people in each of these blocks, but the information is tabulated and can be used from that later by the Census Bureau. I've handed out a handout here, this one with the yellow on top that just shows, this is at the census.gov website. It tallies tons and tons of numbers. And this is just for Lansing, Michigan in 2000. Shows the male population of 48%, female 52%. You've got by age, 9.7% are over age 65. That's important to a lot of senior center programs. Lansing was 65% white, 22% black. And there's on and on. It goes social characteristics, economic characteristics. I just got one more sheet here that just shows it breaks it down even by age under 5 years, 5 to 9 years, so schools know how many kids they may have. So to wrap it up, please mail your census form back. It's important for Michigan to get the federal funds for your state, county, city. And if I'm one of those workers that goes out to knock on your door, I hope you don't thwart me and my efforts. Thank you very much. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.